Hi everyone, this is Sunette, and I'm continuing with my captain, crew, and ship analogy, and this time making it more practical, grounding the information into a way that you can utilize it in yourself, your relationship with all of you, and your everyday life. Now, as much as your mind self, your self, and your body self is extensions of you, parts of you, so also is your relationship to your outside world. It's quite interesting how when you meet someone or experiencing a moment or doing something, any given moment in your everyday life, you'll always have a busyness, a movement, a sensation, an experience, a triggering of something inside yourself. You know, as our reality unfolds, as our day unfolds, in moments, so also do ourselves. You know, we unfold in how we open up actually inside of us. And this was another way that I allowed myself to see my relationship to my outside reality a lot different. So if we have a look at a ship that is sailing into the ocean, okay, the ocean is just completely open. You know, it's like the ocean is inviting and saying, come, I am here. It's like that absolute embracing. And interesting that we would sometimes approach the ocean, the depths, you know, in a fear, because it's just that absolute openness, expansiveness, depth, almost above and beyond, that triggers a little something within us where we, in fact, have, let's say, limited and restricted our discovery, exploring, experience of ourselves within. You know, we always try and keep everything contained, you know, very tunnel visioned, like, I just want to see this little bit right in front of me, and keep everything as it is, and that is me really happy and satisfied with myself, with life, because I know where I am, who I am, where everything is, where everyone is, just very like little boxed in. It's almost like we're literally sitting in a box on a ship, because our ship, the ocean, is life. It is happening. It is here. So have a look also at how we sometimes walk into our day, you know, where we will still stay in that little box, you know, and move, like, you know, when animals get stuck in a little box sometimes, or sometimes kids as well, and they feel like they're losing themselves and like running around trying to get out of this box, where for us, the moment a box is on top of us, we feel safer, you know, more comfortable. I want to stay in this little space. So boxing in, everyone, happens when you stay in comfort zones. You know, you don't want to change. You don't move yourself. You don't initiate that point of, okay, look, I actually need to change here, because whatever I'm doing is compromising my mind self, my self, and my body self. So that's a point that one can also step out of, because to be a captain, a crew, and a ship, you've got to be able to take on the openness of life itself. What does that openness also mean? Unpredictability. I mean, the ocean is unpredictable. You know, sometimes even as a ship, captain, crew, you can prepare as much as you want, but things are going to happen that you could never have prepared for. And you're going to have to only trust yourself. It's all you have, in fact. Your skills, your tools, and who's with you, okay? Same happens in life. But the thing is, and this is something I also realized for myself, is I did not want to go into my process of getting to know my mind, myself, and my body, because I was so afraid of finding things, experiencing things, and seeing things that I actually know is there, but that I wouldn't be able to handle or take on. I did not have that foundation of trust. So what helped me is, guys, in this process of building your ship, rebuilding it, getting your crew organized, which is your tools, your skills. So the crew I saw as my tools, my skills, which I used as forgiveness, breathing, writing, talking to someone, literally getting to know the inner workings and world and reality of me. And with practicing that more and more, I started developing a trust that, look, with whatever is going on inside me, I'll strive to understand it from now on. I won't just box myself into a little box and ignore what was going on in me. And it was the same as with the judgments, of my body, that I would have maybe for years, how worse would that have gotten, possibly? And if I did not make that decision to rather understand it, where was the judgment coming from? Why was I doing that to myself? Where did it start? Why am I accepting and allowing this? Why am I not wanting to live differently? Why don't I want to have a better relationship with my body? Why did that not even come up? Things like that. You start going into and asking. And, it's like there's always that inherent fear within us of going deeper, going into the depths, because it's unknown, yet it's known in a way. As much as going into the ocean, it's an unknown, but it is known as well. You generally know, but the detail and the specific you won't know until you get there and experience it. So it's the same in my process within myself. And how I started building that ship, my relationship with my mind, myself, and my body, was getting to know myself. And that was through investigation, research, introspection into everything that defines me, that exists in me, that comes up. From there comes my positioning as the captain, where I then decide, how am I going to steer the ship? How am I going to man the ship? This woman that I am. And, have a look at all the detail in realizing I can make a decision of what I want to experience and what not. And like the judgment points with my body, I didn't want to experience that anymore. So I captained and steered that relationship with myself, with my crew, which was my tools and abilities to introspect and investigate and change, and literally steered and changed myself into a different direction, a different way of living and experiencing myself. A ship, for example, as well, you don't just change direction. It's not just like, bam, bam, bam. Yeah, it would be funny if we saw ships. Like, imagine you see it happening on the ocean, a ship sailing, all of a sudden, boom, it's just jumping up and changing its direction. To change direction, it is a process, slowly but surely, until finally that direction changes. So the same with me, with my relationship with judgment, for example. Time was involved. It was a process of steering and captaining myself, my crew, and my ship into a new direction, a new way of living, a new way of being with myself. So also always remember that when I do the videos and I share some examples of how I've changed, it's not something that happened immediately. Time was involved, a process was involved. All right, everyone. So learn to embrace the openness, the unknown, the depths within yourself as much as you would when you are shipping out into an ocean. And you might be surprised that you'll realize, as I have, that I never actually really had a ship or a captain or a crew. I was just in this little box on an island almost. The island of ourselves, alone in our minds. Meanwhile, there was a whole life to explore within me. I just needed to build my ship, get my crew, the captain, that's me, duplicate myself inside myself. And so that's how I've learned to, see myself and my experience. But now also, but I'll get to this in videos to come, where that's initially how your relationship with yourself starts. You learn to become a captain with a crew on a ship, then you transition into flying. What is that? But we'll get to that in a little bit. What's that transition process of becoming a whole different self-living experience, where you kind of transition between being on a ship and being an airplane? Okay, everyone. Thank you very much for listening. And if you have any questions, please ask in the comments below. And hope you enjoy this process of redefining yourself as your own captain, crew, and ship. Thank you. Bye-bye.